Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Manfred Podcast. And today we have got on Connor Williams. And oh my God, what an absolute episode this was. Like, I felt stupid because how much Connor just knew stuff. Everything had logic behind it, how much reading, his philosophy, everything behind it was brilliant. But the things that we covered today are his marketing agency and how he got there, how hard you have to work in order to get what you actually want, reaching the level that you want, but then actually not being happy even when you achieve it, taking accountability with your life, basically having ownership and just do what you want however you can. There's always a way, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet. It's an absolute brilliant episode, and if you're a person that wants to improve their life but you don't really know what sense of direction to go, listen to this. You're going to take advice away from this, and it's absolutely fantastic. So please enjoy the episode, and I'll see you all at the end. So, Connor, lads, thank you for coming on today. First of all, like I can see that you made the trek. Good to see you had a bit of a moment earlier on where you were saying car issues, but we're here, we're ready to go. So first of all, how are you? You okay?
All good, man. How about you?
I'm not too bad, man. I'm not too bad at all. You know, I'm a little bit on the sick side, but I'm not contagiously sick. I'm just. I don't know.
You tell me this now.
Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on with me at the minute. For coughing, yes, I'm messing. But to give the guests, a bit of an insight and everything on who you are, because from what we were talking about before, you're interesting. Like you're an interesting guy, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. Bit of deep dive and everything. So, who was Connor Williams? What does he do?
Yeah.
Anything along them lines that you're happy to
I
share?
get asked that a lot. So, what do you actually do? And I never have that. You know, when people have that refined, rehearsed answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, do. I don't have a refined answer because I do so many different things. But if you're gonna condense it, I'd probably say sales coach.
A sales coach. So, what is a sales coach? Because, so we were speaking to Chloe, who's been on. Yeah. She's been doing that.
One of my successful students.
I was going to say, you was a coach as well, wasn't you?
Yeah.
So,
she smashed it.
What is it that you actually do, though? What does a high-ticket sales coach include?
So my program specifically, my business specifically has two areas. So it's the training people who want to be entrepreneurial salespeople.
Yeah.
And it's also working with businesses to help them build better sales teams. Yeah. So in essence, these two businesses feed each other. Mm-hmm. So people come to me usually when they're stuck. And I say sales coach with apprehension when I say what I do, because honestly, 99% of what I do is mindset. Mm. Like the technical skills of sales, yes, obviously an important part, but the number one reason why people always don't get to where they want to get to is mindset. Yeah. And I was an agency coach before high ticket sales coach, obviously helping them to sell their agency services. So very, very similar, but same thing. Any entrepreneurial venture, for most people, it's always a mindset block, not a skill set issue. Yeah. So what I focus mainly on when I am personally coaching someone is more the mindset side. But from a technical perspective, the school that we run, the training program, helps people who are kind of like stuck. And the way I help them to get unstuck is by being remote salespeople. Yeah. So closers, where they just sit there, they take sales calls. And it's becoming a more popular thing. It's like, is this the new drop shipping or the new SMMA? It's like one of them new exciting things where people get shiny object syndrome. And I think people misunderstand it because it's one of them things that attracts a lot of people because of the end goal. It's like, oh, well, you're telling me I could work 4 hours a day, I could earn 10K a month, I could do it fully remotely. It's like, yes. But also, technically, you could get paid hundreds of millions to kick a fucking football around. Yeah. But, you don't look at a professional footballer as too good to be true because you understand the journey to get there is very, very difficult. Mm-hmm. So it's a lesser version of that. That's the analogy I always use. So it's a lesser version than that. You can't just arrive at that position just because you've seen some fucking idiot on Instagram or YouTube tell you can do it in 3 months. Because you can, but you have to have the foundations there. Like you can't misunderstand the timeline. You got to appreciate where you come into it. That's going to be how long it takes you. Like Chloe, great example. Like it was two very distinct reasons why we got her in a role, making good money within 6 weeks. She had previous sales experience. Like she she picked up the training a lot quicker. But B, she had the right mindset. Like she came through and went through the content quicker than anyone else. And if you break it down into hours, it's not that much. But I've got people in there who have gone nearly 9 months who haven't even passed the training. But Chloe done it in 4 weeks.
Jesus,
that's the difference.
Chloe for that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, there's definitely, I mean, God, wild tangent. But so yeah, how I can help people to be unstuck. The opportunity that I give them is remote closing.
Yeah.
So remote sales, primarily remote closing. So yeah, what you do is you find like usually an online business, because obviously you want a remote element to it. And they're usually in the health, wealth, or relationships industries. Like there's a specific reason for that. And they run coaching programs, online courses, mentorships. Sometimes it's more B2B, like agency offers, things like that. But they help someone to solve like a pretty serious problem. That's why I like those 3 industries. Because I think personally, if you have bad relationships, if you're in bad health or mindset, and you don't earn enough money, or you don't like the way you earn money, you're kind of trapped in that situation, then you're going to be willing to do a lot to change that. Because in essence, change only happens when the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of making a change. So if you're happy in a circumstance, what's really motivating you to change? Like there's numerous studies. My favorite is the, I can't remember the exact experiment, a rat experiment of when they were measuring the force in which a rat would pull a piece of wire based on motivations. So it was like, right, test 1, put a bit of cheese at the end of this kind of walkway, tie the string to the rat. Let's see how hard it kind of pulls. So desire, in essence, is desire. So how much do you pull to desire? A reasonable amount. Well, then they changed it and they wafted in the smell of a cat behind the rat instead. And they found that it was pulling twice as hard. So that is tracked in a lot of different studies, that running away from pain is a lot more powerful motivator than running towards a goal. And obviously when it was the cheese and the cat, 3 times as much, so even more. But pain is the strongest motivator. So unless you feel enough pain, you are not motivated to change. And that is the definition of kind of any success in anything. And it's most people that I look into, like, because I admire where they've got to, when they've you've actually found them, they've been on a podcast, they've actually unraveled their story. They always have tragedy at the heart of it. There's always something that's kind of motivated that extreme push, because success in anything is so fucking hard. And I say, like, success is not hard, but it's hard. And I would say that, but I mean, it's not complicated. It's just hard work. And like we were saying earlier, that, most people put themselves on this pedestal and they make their successes sound so much more complicated or so much prestigious than they actually are, because they want to come across as that. But when you get there yourself, you realize this really wasn't that complicated. It's just doing simple things. So that is, the biggest lie that we're told, is that it's not that simple. Like, it is that fucking simple. It's just consistent hard work over a long period of time.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it consistency that comes down to it all, just building it? That, what's the metaphor that Will Smith uses? Build a wall brick by brick every day, but make sure that one brick that goes down is a perfect brick. Before you've got a perfect wall. Yeah. So is that, like, in your aspect, just how you see success? Just be consistent, put the hard work with the.
I would say that's how to achieve success, definitely. It's like in anything. Like I said, I think another reason why the industries that we work in are wealth, health, and relationships, like I said, they're going to be the things that stop you living a happy life. And sometimes, even if you don't have all 3, like, that's something I've realized personally, is like I've got one to a level that I never thought I'd get to. But then because I didn't have the others, it felt empty. So if anything standing in your way of achieving those things, you're going to be willing to do a lot to change that, which means also you would pay a lot to change that. So as a closer, you obviously want to you get 10% commission of everything you sell. So you want to get at least 5K offers. So you're taking 500 every time you sell something. So that's why we work in those industries. That's why it works. But again, it just relates to life in general so much. And I think the success side of things, it's like, you're obviously in good shape. I've been training for a while.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen because you find a magic workout, a secret, a shortcut, a this, a that, other than sticking needles in your ass. Even that, I've had a lot of friends that I grew up with. I knew who done that, and then, I mean, for want of a better word, just developed bitch tits. Like, because they didn't train. They thought it was as simple as, oh, I've got this shortcut. Why am I not hench? You got to understand that, okay, you can do that, but you need to be really strict with training. You need to do a lot on top of that as well. Same with courses. It's like, oh, I'll just pay $5,000 for a course. Why the fuck am I not a millionaire? I've got to do the work as well. Nah, I'm all right. So, you can find these very powerful things that do shorten the journey, but they can't remove the journey. Like, even then, and everything comes with a cost. And if it's a course, it's money. If it's steroids, it's probably like health problems. If it's manipulation in a relationship, then it's bad foundations that always get unraveled. But all those three things, like, if you want to get in shape, you have to do very, very simple things consistently over time. If you want to build a business or be successful, you have to do very simple things consistently over time. If you want to have a good relationship, you have to consistently put in effort over time. And that's why people don't have good relationships, because we all know what it's like to be in a new and exciting relationship. And there's something pushing you to do those nice things. You think about it, like, you're motivated to. But with everything, motivation fades, and then you're left with the commitment and the discipline of doing it. And then, you come in, you're tired, and then you had a long day, and they're like, oh, how was your day? It's like, oh, I just need to fucking mat. But you wouldn't do that with like someone you're just seeing for like a month. So it's like those little things, which are why things never lead to the successful point. And I think it's for everything. Like I said, everything is very, very simple when you strip it back.
You've actually just blown my mind on how you walk about, oh my God, seriously.
I can't remember the original question, to be honest.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine, because that was some answer anyway.
Yeah.
But now when you get people coming in and you talk about mindset and there's three things that cover it, is it the same type of people that come to you? Same type of issues? No.
It's,
variety?
Kind of a yes or no. Again, if you can strip things back, very, very, very similar.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I've managed to develop a really effective sales method, is because you can strip down everything to its nuts and bolts. So when I write a sales framework, I can use that framework to sell B2B offers. I can do it for fitness programs, for entrepreneurial programs, for relationship programs. The nuts and bolts of everything is just very basic. So kind of a yes and a no.
Yeah.
And again, it all boils down to moving away from pain and moving into desire. Like, it's a very primal thing to want. It's linked to dominance, linked to most. You've got your base motives and actions. Your base is survival. Everything pulls from survival. The whole purpose of every organism that has ever lived is survival. And if that wasn't as strong as it was, then we wouldn't be here. Evolution wouldn't happen. And on top of that is reproduction, because that is the only way to ensure long-term survival, because you can't live forever. So the only second to that is reproduction and to pass on your genes. So from that, the only things that get you, like, in complex mammals like us, the only things that get you a better chance of reproduction are dominance, territory, hierarchy, status, all these things. And when you start looking at chimps so close to us, when you start analyzing like that behavior based on these things, then you look at humans, you're like, oh shit, we are just apes. We are definitely just apes. Like 19-year-olds doing handbrakes in Tesco car park, chimp behavior. So it's what it boils down to. So most human action is kind of based on these very primal urges. And I think that maturation is moving away from the primal and becoming more human. It's not being so much of a human animal and start being a human being. Like, I like to link things to very scientific areas so I can have logical explanations. And I think when I went through my mindset shift, like when I finally sorted my life out, 2 hours every day, just reading, researching, YouTube, and I mean everything: philosophy, psychology, neurology, history, like everything. I just went through this phase of just finding everything interesting, because I was that fucked. It took me so much to work everything out and then put myself on a better path. So this is where I like to link things through. And I think when you can understand things from an evolutionary point, it makes sense, because everything that we do has been evolved over millions and millions of years. So if you can start tracing behavior back to that, for me, it makes sense. and it gives me better tools to manage that. Because you're not responsible for your nature. You can't help it, but you are responsible for managing it.
Yeah.
So how it manifests in you is up to you, but you can't stop like feeling these things. Like that is you, that will happen. So it's about more of a management, but you can only manage things you really understand. So that's why I like to kind of trace it back to there. But again, what was the original question?
I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember either.
Honestly, I do my calls with my students. I do my weekly calls, and there's been times where I've just spoken for like hour and 10 minutes straight, and I'm like, "Well, that's this week, guys." It's my therapy. It's me getting things out. Yeah.
That's looking me a bit too much already. So when you said that you went through your mindset change and you had to go through that, when was this?
So this was 2018/2019.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah. So if we need a backtrack to kind of explain that. So, I have never had a being at this point is only a very recent thing. We're talking like 15% of my life. 31 last 4 or 5 years. The lead up to that was a lot of destruction, a lot of failing, a lot of getting things wrong, which I'm so grateful for because it's given me this deep understanding of helping other people. Because I think that's the problem with most coaches is they've never done the thing that they're teaching. The most frustrating thing, especially in the entrepreneurial world, like most people with programs have never done the thing. Like I know a couple of guys I've spoken to, like we've done Zoom calls. It's like we support each other when we are competitors. But then there's other guys who are kind of those false coaches. Like they'll slag me off online and things like that, and I just think it's hilarious. But it's important for me to help people from my own perspective and understand more, because then obviously helping other people, you see different perspectives, and it kind of gives you this web of information and knowledge of how you can help people even more, which is great. But I was a complete fuck up forever, like since birth. I have a very manic mind, and I need to understand things. So I was obviously an awkward child to deal with. Like there's childhood shit there, but you can never blame if you want to progress. So I've reconciled with that, but I also understand that when you start understanding your parents as human beings, and you understand them and their story, it makes a lot of sense. And then when you are an adult and you're like, oh shit, to be fair, if I was 22 years old and had a kid and I had no role model with my parents and I was living paycheck to paycheck, pretty sure I wouldn't have been the perfect parent either. So you can't blame. But on top of that, I was a very awkward child, and contrasting to a very well-behaved, ordinary, normal older brother, to have this kind of destructive child who was always questioning, always needed to know why. I needed more time, I needed more nurturing. And as we kind of all know now, with like childhood trauma and all that stuff is very popular. I think we all understand it to a lot deeper level, which is great. But I think with anything that's understood, it is then lent on as an excuse. And it's like, oh, I could change and be better, which is going to take a lot of hard work, time, and commitment. Or I have this out. I have this get out of jail free card. It's my parents. And I did that for the longest time. Like I was in that victim blame mentality for the longest time. So high school, fuck up. Like I got kicked out of my first high school, went to another one. Like didn't really have any friends there. It was always old kids from like my own town. And I was just floated from group to group, never really felt right. I'd always like have friends for a few years, but then I'd move on to someone else, and then we'd move on to someone else. And then, I was a very fearful kid, very fearful. And I did kickboxing 9 to 12. I did boxing for 3 years. So not that I couldn't fight, but I just had this fear. And like I think one of the things that I am very happy that my mind does is if I have a challenge, I'll just do the most extreme thing against it. So I remember watching this Ross Kemp documentary, and I was like him in Afghan with the Royal Anglians. They were Norfolk, Essex, and Suffolk Regiment, and I'm from Norfolk. So I was like, I don't know them, but I know of them. I was like, fuck, can't believe people actually do this shit. And I was like, why can't I do this shit? And I was like, nah, that's fucking war, man. That's that. And I was like, why? Why can't it be you? I was like, that's a good fucking point. So naive little kid walks into the career office like, I want to be in the war, please. Like, they piss themselves. Like, ka-ching, right, sign this fucker up. So obviously my parents didn't really want me to go into the infantry. So under their guise, it was like, oh, you can be an engineer, but I was going to go in the infantry. So yeah, like 6 months of that, because I left college. I didn't want to do A levels. I didn't want to go uni. I went into an office job at 17, and it was like the most depressing thing on earth. Like, I remember very clearly being sat in a room of 10 people at 17 years old, looking around me thinking, right, there's a group of 30-year-olds there who have been doing similar jobs like this forever. There's a 40-year-old who's been doing jobs like this. There's loads of people who've just finished university. I'm 17, I'm on the same level as you. I don't understand this. And then going into the pastor training with the other people, people spending all of their lives in a position like this that I couldn't last 5 minutes in. So I was like, nah, can't do this. So yeah, it was like, what the fuck do you do then? And I saw that doctor and I was like, right, no, this is my thing. I'm going to be in the army. I'm going to do it. So yeah, joined the army, deployed in 2012. And that was an experience and a half. So come back, did a PT course, wanted to move into like the PT corps, but they wouldn't really let me. Our regiment didn't really like us moving around. So I was like, well, what the fuck am I doing? It's like there's no more active duty. It's like being a firefighter and only pretending to put out fires. So left that. No idea what the fuck I'm doing. Like I had a mental breakdown before I left as well. Not in a good place. Like I said, I was blaming everyone. And the thing is, you come back from tour, and like mental health. It's 2012. It wasn't really as much of a thing back then. And it's like you sit in assembly, like you're in high school, and like they're talking about mental health and things like that. And do you watch Community? Have you seen that?
Oh, I've seen a couple of episodes of it.
Yeah. I mean, like sitting in there and they're talking about their feelings, and everyone's like, it's one of them. So you don't, like, you're weak. Like, things like how we deal with it is we go out, we get fucking pissed, we fight civvies, and we're rewarded for it. That's the mentality. Like, but on the other side to that, it's very like in a world of today, it's like toxic masculinity, all this stuff. It's very easy to look back one-sided, and I think that's the biggest problem that people do, is that they always think their problems are bigger than everyone else's. They always see it from one side, not all sides. Everyone has their shit. Everyone is struggling. So when you're in that environment, you try going to fucking war and fighting for your life for 6 months. There's a mentality that you need. You can't sit in a prayer circle with your feelings beads, praying on it. You have to have a strong will. You have to do unbelievable fucking shit. You have to spend, I remember once on and op spending 3 days no sleep, 80 kilos of kit on me, 54-degree heat, constantly getting shot at each day. Like, your mind needs to be in some fucking zone to do that shit. So you do have to be a bit of a twat. like you do. You have to have a bit of a facade. You have to have a confidence. It has to get drilled in you from day one that you're not normal, because you can't be normal. You have to have that complex in you. Otherwise you won't do it, and you'll let people down and people will die. So again, whilst now I'm a very different person, I don't really agree with it. I don't really agree with the whole war thing. Like, again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist as such, but again, you can't look at it one-sided. Like, we're as, if not more evil than them. We bomb houses full of children's in the hopes that a target might be there. Shit like that. Yeah. Like, if you lay it out tit for tat and you take the names off the top who did what, be pretty equal. So I would struggle to do it in that sense. Unless it was like an alien invasion or something. Sign me up. Like, very one-sided. I'm there. But war's a very complicated subject, especially when you grow up, you mature, and you become less egocentric. It's not about, I didn't join war for politics, anything like that. I joined it for me. Felt like a pussy, so fuck it, go to war, toughen up. It was a me thing. It wasn't a political thing. Like most people, you do it for yourself, you do it for the boys next year, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to see, back then, yeah, obviously it wasn't the greatest behavior, but again, that's why I was so much worse, because I was a depressed kid, angry kid. It's circled, you go to war, you feel like, you're on top of the world, you do parades, and you feel like a mini celebrity for a few weeks, and then you're the scum of the earth again. And then you're back, and it's a very, very weird dichotomy to walk into.
Did it give you what you feel like you needed from it, though, when you first walked through the doors to when you left?
At that stage in my life, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What was it then that you walked away with, in your eyes?
Confidence, in a way. Like, I'm a weird person to label, because I have both a superiority and an inferiority complex. I both think I'm worse than everyone, but I deserve more than everyone. And it was really weird. Like I've had discussion with, therapists and things like that. I actually saw a few like viral reels. I think Alex Hormozy was talking about it, and how that's like one of the common traits of hyper successful people is they have an inferiority complex, superiority complex. But the thing I was always missing was impulse control. I'm impulsive as shit. So that's why I'm not hyper successful. So there's that side, which I'm still developing. But, and when I stripped this down, it made a lot of sense, because when you have an inferiority complex, pain is at the heart of that. Nothing pushes you more than pain. But when you suffer with crippling insecurity, you don't put yourself out there to try, so you sit in the pain, which is what I've done many, many times for many years. When you have a superiority complex only, you think you're better than everyone, so you don't need to try. Like, I'm already better than everyone else. Why do I need to try? I'm already at the top of the mountain. And you'll stay on your small mountain, then you'll never attempt to climb Everest, because as soon as you step off Scafell Pike and go to Mount Everest, that you're not even at base camp. And you've got so many people above you, and you don't want to challenge your superiority. So you stay in your small ponds. You don't push yourself, because you already have, again, like, you're not going to change because you already feel good. But when you have both, you always have the thing pushing you. Every single mountain you climb is then the insignificant mountain. Like we were saying earlier, do you feel successful? Not at all. Like, not at all. Because if I get to a position, I'm not ever looking back, I'm looking forward. So it's like, now I'm not here. It's like, fuck. Now I'm in the different race, but I'm last place. So I've got to make sure I'm first. And then next time I'm first, it's like, shit. Now I'm in a completely different race, but I'm last place.
You're just moving up leagues, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're just moving up. You're looking to get that promotion every single time.
But without that, you don't push yourself. And I have a good friend, and he read a little mini article on LinkedIn, done really well. We laughed about this because we both felt the same. It was like, therapy ruined me, because it takes away that drive. When you are more content with what you have, you don't push as hard to get what you want. And there's such a hard balance to strike. Do you stay unhealthy and successful, or do you go less and be more happy? Because those two things are not a multi-choice option. It's a very hard balance to strike. And if you're someone who always constantly pushes themselves, you struggle to be happy with what you have. So you have to work with the tools you're given, and you have to understand those tools. It's very hard to change who you are, but you can always grow.
Yeah.
But you are given a set of tools at the start, and you have to work with them.
If you could give advice then to someone who feels that they always need more and they're never completely content with what they've got, they're happy to an extent, but they always feel like they should be doing more, they should be getting more. What do you reckon about that person?
Try and figure out what more means to you. And the more it's material, the unhappier and emptier you will feel. Like, if you have a hyperfixation on material and tangibles, you're going to ruin yourself, because you'll achieve them and they'll never be as satisfactory as you think they are. And your happiness lies in the distance between your expectations and your realities. So when I went for a very low point again, had several, last year, I was actually in Bali. I'd launched my program. I had students coming in. I've been traveling. I'd just like rented my house out. Finally lived the nomad life, financially could do it very comfortably. Bali was always this like dream of mine. I had this like vision of like going to this tropical island where everyone was like me, and I was going to meet loads of people, and my life was going to be complete. My course I'd been working on for so long, finally released. I finally got people in, and I was at the edge, at one of the worst I've ever been in my life. Because the expectation of getting to this place was so here, but the reality of it was here. And there was other things that meant my reality was lower. Recent breakup, kind of an official, for me personally, an official move away from all my old friends. And it was a very lonely place to be. And the loneliness is something that everyone goes through when you go on a journey like this. And it's been said a million times. This is definitely not an original thought, but re-say it. there's a period of loneliness that we all go through when you are trying to be successful, because to be successful, you have to be more. To be exceptional, by definition, you have to be extraordinary. You have to do more than ordinary. And ordinary today, if you're going to put it into numbers, is slightly out of shape, less than a K in the bank, and most likely either to be divorced or have already been divorced. So all three of those things, health, wealth, relationships, not a great state. And that's average. And that's because most people just do the average, which is go to a job, do the bare minimum to get paid, go home, get pissed, watch Netflix. There's no time of development or proactivity. It's all reactive to survive. So in order to break out of that, you have to do the extraordinary. You have to, and like letting go of what you're used to is so difficult. Not going out as much, trying to focus on yourself. When I went through my mindset stuff, didn't drink for 6 months, things like that. And what I noticed was, you don't get invited to places, you don't get spoken to, people talk behind your back. And when you call people out, it's like, oh, well, didn't think you want to come, you don't drink anymore. People like that don't like, and this is my interpretation, could be completely wrong. Everyone is different, but for the majority of times I've seen this, it's because you hold a mirror up to other people when you're trying to work hard. And especially in Britain, we have a very crabs in a bucket mentality. Rather than see someone pull themselves out of the bucket, we'd rather drag everyone down so no one does.
Yeah.
And that's why you can literally leave 100 crabs in a bucket and you don't have to put a lid on it. Because every time a crab goes to get out, one will always pull down. So rather than one person succeeding, everyone wants to make it out. No one wants to see somebody make it out.
No.
So when you're the one who is trying to work harder, kind of puts a bit of a mirror up. And I know this from reflection of how I used to feel when I see other people do well. Like the first thing I used to see was I used to instantaneously analyze my own life. Why are they doing that? How are they doing that? What have they got that I haven't? And it raises you, it raises your territorial, I don't know if it's a man thing or, I've noticed it less in females. Not to say it's an exclusive trait, but I think, it's a bit of the dominance. I think it's the hierarchy again, relating it to the biological drivers is because we are all in a chimp troop and we have a very hierarchical structure. So the minute one person advances, by nature, your position falls. And that is the biggest shift that I have done, which has come out of this period of loneliness, is I've stopped playing a game of the many and I started playing the game of me. Like my position is only judged on me, no one else. But I've always had that underneath because I've had students that have done well and then better than me in the agency space. And I'm nothing but happy for them. And I'd stay, like those would be my friends because, they'd be my people. The people who can't even be bothered to do cold calls for a week, I wouldn't ever speak to again because they're not my sort of person. But the people who'd come through, smash it and do like extremely well, better than me, I love to be around them. It's like, what can I learn to get better? So it's a me game because it's about what I need to do to raise myself up. Well, if I'm around people that are doing better than me, I learn more, I do better, I get better. But I think most people see it in a sense. If I'm around people that are better than me, I'm the worst. So what I'd rather do is I'd rather just not talk to them. So I think when you're the one who's in that position where you feel stuck, you get on YouTube, you get on Instagram, you start seeing these people, you start seeing a bit of a path out. It's exciting. It's motivating. It builds a little bit of a fire in your gut. And then you go talk to normal people about it and they make you feel stupid. They make you feel silly. It's not going to work. It's a scam. It's a risk. I'll still get people like, it's like strangers. Again, we were talking about like haters online. Oh, it's a scam. It's a pyramid scheme. It's like, do you know what? Like you say, you can't even engage. It's like pigeons. Don't even engage. Just delete it. You move on. And it doesn't matter what you will do. There will always be some fucker at your heels saying it's wrong. And the more you do, the bigger you get, the audience you get. By the sheer nature of law of average, you're going to attract more of them. If you're always sitting at a 0.5%, you have 10,000 people, you got a very small. But if you get 1 million people, it's a larger pool. And you can, there's people who will, there's, I saw this book, I think that Paul Mort, that podcast guy, Mindset, great guy. He did a little reel about this like Nobel Prize winning book that he read, and he looked and there was still 1-star reviews on it. Like hundreds of them.
Is it because what he was talking about, people just didn't want to engage with it that way.
I think it's like the book itself, like one of the most well-written books ever to have been produced, still gets 1-star reviews. There's still people out there who will try and drag things down.
Yeah.
And I think I mean, I've been in that position. When you are in a painful position, it's a very narrow view of the world you have, because your pain consumes you, and it blocks this ability to see things from other perspective. It blocks your ability to empathize. That word. It blocks it, so you can't see things from other people's point of view, and you're stuck because you're so hurt, and like all you can feel, all you can see is pain. And I think that's what breeds impulsivity, because if you are a normal person and you don't really suffer with anything, a week to you is no time at all. But imagine then you're one of these normal people and someone sticks a needle in your arm and puts sellotape around it. Your week is going to be a lot longer. Well, that's the definition of living in pain. So that's why when you're so low on serotonin, you're so low on dopamine, and there's these little fixes that you get, you're so impulsive because you're like, get me out of this fucking shit for a second. Let me breathe.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people are impulsive. That's why I'm impulsive. Because there's sometimes just a little bit of a relief that gets you out of that for a split second. But then, you go straight back down there. So again, it's the impulse control that you've got to learn. It's like doing the things you don't want to do to put yourself in a better position longer term, which is, again, the definition of being successful is long term.
Yeah, because everyone always seems to talk about impulsive as like this really big thing that it's bad. And obviously the way that you talk about it, it's like people just trying to do it to get that bit of like excitement, a bit of joy away from that pain that they're in at the minute. And
again, it's like, if you haven't been through it, it's very hard to understand. And it's like the people who cut themselves, like people look at that as if it's the most odd thing in the world. It's like, oh, you're attention seeking, you're doing things like this. But what it does is it alleviates a greater pain. So imagine, and again, it's the empathy that people lack. So rather than see someone doing a weird thing, imagine that you suffer with something so bad, the only way to get out of it is by physically cutting yourself, by having physical pain. When you start looking at it from that perspective, you understand people a lot more.
Yeah, we had a friend that came on here. Well, he was a guest at the time, but I like to call him a friend now. And he done the exact same thing. Because he was going through that much pain, he would cut himself to alleviate himself of the mental pain and give himself physical pain in order to give himself a break. Yeah. And it's sad to see that. But obviously the way that you talk about it as well, and like the mindset that you say, it's really, I don't even know what the word to be. This is where like I need to improve, like with my reading and everything. Jump on YouTube for 2 hours a day. The way that you say it gives you a different aspect of how you look at things.
Yeah, it's your perspective.
Yeah,
it's the paradigm in which you see the world is off your own experiences and perspectives. So this is why we live in such a polarizing world, because people's lack of perspective and lack of empathy. Like I said, everyone thinks their pain and their problems is worse than everyone else's, and sometimes you feel like in like today you can't speak about it as a straight white man. Like, fuck me, like you borderline go into it. Like I put a post out about like entitlement, and the front page, like the front cover of that post was like models now versus models in the 80s, and it was like Mark Wahlberg versus some 20 stone model now, both wearing Calvin Klein. And the point of the post was about entitlement. How about nowadays, to get what you want, most people prefer to scream injustice until they get it rather than go through the hard work of getting it. And that was my point. But I had people kick off about eating disorders, that I'm like, how dare I put Kate Moss there? Mark Wahlberg beat people up like this. Like, but again, what I understand from that perspective is that those people are in that much specific pain. That's all they see. That's why they struggle with it.
So I keep going back to the crab bucket.
Yeah,
I keep going back to everyone's just a crab.
Crabs in buckets.
You're trying to do something there that's making a difference, trying to help people see something in a different light. Give them a better understanding of entitlement. So we'll use that. And everyone's just that crab. No. You can't say that. Let's drag that back down. Oh, no, well, you can't be saying that. So let's use this and I'll drag you back down. And the more that you speak about it, the more it's like, oh my God, that crab bucket.
Everything relates.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed when I was going to, again, hyperfixation on learning and going through all these things. And to be fair, that's how we got on this tangent. We were talking about that, the whole journey. When I started to look at neurology, when I started looking at philosophy, when I started to look at psychology, like all these different disciplines of it, very like mindset stuff, everything all gelled together. And it was like, oh, okay, this is what it is. And like the biggest change, I can see it there. The biggest change came for me when I read the Chimp Paradox. So what that done for me is it allowed me to alleviate a bit of guilt, because I've always felt like a good person, but I've done very bad things. Like I've done things and I've always felt guilty of it. Oh, why did I fucking do that? I can't believe I did that. And I give myself a really hard time. But then when I read that book and the mind model, and that three areas of your mind is what are the foundations of a lot of what I talk about. Like even in my mindset training in my course, like how the mind works is like one of my first lessons where I break that down. And I even go into the step by step of how your mind takes in stimulus. So I do that because of how much it relates to everything else. And again, everything kind of gels in. And again, like the crabs in the bucket, why people are like that. Well, you trace that back to the dominance thing, the hierarchy things, like how we've evolved. But what you trace that back to is the chimp brain in there. So if anyone's listening who doesn't know, to give maybe a brief summary, your mind has three parts: the computer, the chimp, and the human. And that relates to physical structures in your brain. And it's the deepest core, the outer core, the mid core, and then the outer core. And again, if you can trace that back to evolution. You can trace that back to the most unevolved life forms, fish, only really have a brainstem. Then you get like the next ones, the lizards. They don't really have a brainstem, a little bit of a limbic system, which is the chimp brain. Then you move on to, the mammals. And then it's like, right, limbic system, chimp brain. And then they start to have a frontal cortex, which is what we call the human brain. And it's like the more you look at how long something has taken to evolve, the more you can trace the complexity of their brain structure. So it's like the behaviors that we have, this like limbic system, relate to the animals that also have it because it's unevolved, but it's still evolved over a majority of, time on Earth. So, the Earth is 4.5 billion years. Life evolved over the last 4 billion years, but complex life only really evolved over, 500 million years. So we were single-celled organisms for like 3 billion years. So it's only really recently that something just kind of exponentially grew. But that's why I like to understand things from multiple levels, because it all relates and it makes so much more sense. And again, to make sense of my very manic brain, I had to go back to bare roots. It's like, all right, this is what's fucking happening. But that book kicked it off. It's like that computer system is your automatic system. It's the one in charge of breathing, heart regulation, temperature regulation. But it's the one we share with fishes and things like that, because all life forms need this automatic system that regulates life. But it also likes to run off efficiency. So if it can efficiently do something quicker because of the neurotransmitters that it uses, it can operate a lot quicker than anything else because it needs to, because it's keeping you alive. And then because when life evolved, surviving became much more complex, we had to develop more complex brain systems. So when you are talking about organisms with just a brainstem, they're literally just floating around near food, consuming it. There's no thinking. There's no feeling. There's nothing. Basically, organic robots. And then when stuff started to evolve, surviving came more difficult because there was more organisms, so food was more sparse. So we had to develop, smell, sight, hearing, all of these things to actually navigate to find food. So that required more complex systems. So you start getting this like limbic system, but then predators, other shit that wants to eat you. So then you had to develop feelings. You had to develop fear when something was trying to kill you. You had to develop desire to breed. You have to develop some form of feeling to drive you to something. That's what feelings are. That's what emotions are. They're drivers. They're drivers in reaction of something. So then you look at more complex things and they're higher brain systems. There's limbic system. Like, okay, right, that makes sense. That's where we get feelings. That's where fight or flight comes from. That's the whole point of it. But then again, survival became more difficult. So the only way that we could survive, especially mammals, is social groups. So to interact socially, you need a lot more complex systems than a limbic system. So, that's why the frontal cortex developed. And then humans something over the last 3 times the brain size in the last 2 million years. That only happened because we developed tools, we developed fire, like cooking, stuff like that. There's loads of theories on that, which are pretty out there if you want to look into it. Stoned ape theory that mushrooms incited that, and magic mushrooms, opened up thought capacity. There's like UFO testing. There's loads of it. It's like really interesting. But over the last, there's this thing called the cognitive revolution over the last 50,000 years. 50 to 70,000 years. And that's when we really started to get our shit together. We really started to use tools. And they say that if you take a baby, if you go back in time, the kind of earliest point you can take a baby that could even function in today's society would be 50,000 years ago. Before that, wouldn't even have the genes to develop complex language. So we kind of got our shit together because, again, our brains grew. The size of our frontal cortex grew. It allowed us to do more things. So your computer system is based on automatic processes. Your limbic system, your chimp brain, is the emotional side to you. But the whole point of the limbic system is to survive. The human brain is where you think, is what you consider to be you, it's your internal monologue, and it is designed to thrive. So it's automatic systems, survival, thrival.
I think you've just solved evolution and made my decision for me with that. Would it be in a person? Because the person that you are and the way that you've come across with all of this, you talk a lot about emotions and how we've developed over time, the social groups, and then we've reached that stage. Would you say with the knowledge that you've got, you're able to control your emotions better than the average person because you understand it more and where they come from? Because that was running through my head when you were talking then. I was thinking, a lot of people nowadays, we struggle to control our emotions. We let them get the better of us.
Yeah.
And obviously, the more that you put into yourself, your mindset, meditation, the more that you do self-development, where you understand yourself more, you understand how to control yourself better. But with having the knowledge that you've got and how you see things and how you can put it all logically, can you understand yourself even more?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're impervious to it.
Yeah.
So the way that I was kind of explaining this to other people is that the chimp reacts. Well, again, this is coming from his book, Dr. Stephen Peters. Yeah, he's got that one. Like, that's always the biggest recommendation I use is read that book and then read his follow-up because it's a lot more technical and a lot more about building systems in. So the chimp reacts and the human responds. But when you understand, again, I like to understand things on a granular level. When you understand how your brain reacts to stimulus, why it reacts in that way, and what that means for you, that's when, you can get a bit more of a grip on what you do and say. And when you spend a lot of time, like I do, introspectively, because I'm more, introverted, like that's just how my brain works, you do think about other things. And then when you start to get into a world of helping other people, coaching, seeing things from another perspective, that thought goes into that one, that goes into that one. So yeah, I think it is easier now for me than it used to be. But there's a good reason, like there's a few good reasons for that. Spending this much time with this much attention in it is probably the biggest one, because especially with what I do, helping so many people, like writing like so much. Like I sit there and I go live in Spain for a month, sit in a cafe every day, like on the beach, just write, and it's it advances you, leaps and bounds. But then understanding that not many people have the position to be able to do that, so your growth does become exponential because it gives you more time and more ability to grow. So when you're first starting out, trying to build a business, trying to be a closer, it's fucking stressful. It's hard and it's slow and it's long because you don't just do that. You have a full-time job. You have to manage this. You have to do that. You have to fit a family around. And you've got to understand you've got to go through a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work to get to that point where you can have more freedom. So I've struggled through that for fucking years. Like fucking years. Like my entrepreneurial journey was very long. Like it was not an overnight thing at all. But I struggled through that. And now I'm on the other side, it gives me more time and ability to, think about things. And I think when you operate on a higher level and there's more required of you, you have to have better tools of management. You can't react like a normal person running a business, having a team, having people that rely on you for pay. And it is, even keeping it afloat is a mission. Like it's not like, oh, you're at this level and you're going to stay. It's like, not every time you get to 20K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month, it stays there. Like if you don't do everything in your power, you go down. So there's a lot of stress you have to take on. And I feel if you don't have the tools to do that, if you don't spend the time developing the tools to do that, you'll implode. So yeah, I've had to spend a lot of time doing this stuff. But I had a conversation with someone today in a kind of a mentorship call I did. And he was asking me like, what tools can I do to like manage myself better and things like that? And I was like, at the end of the day, mate, like there's a million tools from a million different people in different circumstances. There's not one tool that helps you to be more successful. Like the most important thing you need to do and realize is you just need to do the fucking work. You just need to do the fucking work. Now, for me, going through my kind of mindset shift in 2018, 19, I was still an employee. I had shut down my failed business or paused it because I knew that I couldn't be successful unless I take the time to sort my mindset up. And I'm not suggesting everyone else goes on a 2-year journey of where getting up at 4 a.m, getting up at 3:30 on a Wednesday to run 8 miles instead of 5, spending 2 hours researching and learning, spending half an hour writing every day, not drinking, not going out, just taking that. And that's what I personally needed because of what state I was in. So I've had my time to do that, and that's developed stronger mental foundations where I then could take on everything else past that point. So now, yeah, I think I'm a lot better at dealing with stuff and dealing with people and managing, emotions and responding more than I react. But the second point of why that's easier for me now, and this is a very important point for most people, is that you have white matter and grey matter in your brain. White matter is the myosin that wraps around the grey matter. Now, that allows you to function up to 3,000 times quicker in that area of the brain because it insulates it, it makes things move quicker. That doesn't fully develop until you're between 25 and 28. Women develop a lot quicker, which is why they're more mature than men. So usually at 25. And there's a really good argument to say women should be a year above in school, which I agree with because they are more mature. They go through puberty quicker. Their brain develops quicker. And that's because the myosin goes from the back to the front. The last part of your brain to get this myosin, which is like a fiber optic cable, is your logical, human, rational brain. So you are more reactive when you are younger because the system that's operating at more power is your limbic system. It's your chimp brain. Now, when a stimulus comes in, the first thing it does goes to the chimp brain. That's because the chimp brain is in charge of keeping you alive. So if it senses danger, it takes over, it acts. If it is not sure what to do, it consults the computer, which is basically like a memory bank of actions. So if in doubt, do this. And your computer is programmed by both your human and your chimp. There are programs in there that are developed through childhood trauma, things like that, which are almost impossible to rewrite. So it will be very difficult. But there are most programs in there which, if given enough time and attention, you can rewrite. So you can program them from your human brain so they're more positive rather than your chimp brain. And that's what that process was for me. It was reprogramming all them instinctive reactions that have been based off shitty childhood, in my own perspective. Not feeling like I really got on with people, the army, anger, all that stuff. It was very reactive. So it was rewriting all that stuff for me. So your chimp brain works 5 times faster than your human brain because of the neurotransmitters it produces. Like they literally operate faster. So when something comes in, you sense danger, your chimp will just take over. Now, if your chimp is in a heightened state of threat all the time because you have a shitty life, your chimp will take over more. So in most people's cases, the reason they can't control their emotions or they react to things too much because they have no power to not do so. It's almost impossible to logically and rationally react to something because you get hijacked. You physically get hijacked by the chimp brain. So it's very hard to do so. So you have to do the shitty thing, contemplate about it, think about it, feel bad about it, actively process it, talk about it, which is you've done in therapy. Most of mine was done in writing and therapy, working through it until you can sort of start catching yourself doing it. And then you will react and then you'll start to slow down a little bit and then you can take control again. And that distance will come shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. But it goes through the chimp, then the computer, and the computer doesn't know what to do. It hands it back to the chimp. The only way that your human is able to react if your chimp doesn't see a threat, which is like stage 5. Well, it does happen in like less than 1/10 of a second, but it's only when you don't sense a threat when something's coming in are you able to react logically. So when you are doubtful about yourself, your life, you lack purpose, you are always on that kind of edge, and that someone says that small little comment to you. It's not that someone says a small comment to you, it's that it's the straw that broke the camel's back, and you're in this heightened Chimp. So then you overreact, you shout, you things like that. Then you feel bad about it. Oh, I wish you wouldn't have done that. You feel even worse, which is gets your Chimp in. And it's a feedback loop. And you cycle and you cycle and you cycle and you cycle. And that's what I did forever. And it was like, again, like breakups for me are like the worst things I go through, but they are the most introspective I get. And like the leaps and bounds I get after a breakup is untold. In 2018 was a breakup. And it was like, oh, fuck. Maybe it's me. All these things keep going wrong. And the common denominator is me. Maybe it is me. So that was like all right, fine. Like I went to a charity to try and get me therapy, sorted me out with a guy who was in the army. So I'd done 2 rounds of therapy before, but it's very pink and fluffy. It's very like, oh, it's so bad. I don't need you to feel sorry for me. Tell me what's wrong. How the fuck do I solve it? So I had a bit of like mutual respect for him. Like we got on. I read the Chimp Paradox, and it was like the mind model of that allowed me to let go of the guilt of all the bad things I've done, but I didn't avoid responsibility. So I was like, right, okay, that makes more sense. So what I understand I need to do is I need to work on trying to unlock the human a bit more and calm down the Chimp and work through these things. And like like there was an incident there was a few things that were like holding on to me, which I really struggled. Like the parents thing, like I blame them a lot. And again, when you take some time, you understand that you're not going to have fucking a perfect upbringing, especially in the situation they're in. You see them as human, you're like, oh, I think that's a big stage of maturation not a lot of people get to, is seeing their parents as people and not figures. I was like, oh, okay, I understand that. So I let go of that, and that was a massive, again, it just drops the Chimp down. And these things, drops it down. The other thing was, just kind of like not really fitting in and like going from group to group. I always looked at what the fuck's wrong with me? Like it keeps happening. Like what's wrong with me? But again, it's a feedback loop. I get in my own head about it. I think about it too much. And then I start to distance myself because it's a defense mechanism from avoiding people. As soon as you start to feel like something's going to go wrong, you shut down and you move on to protect yourself from future damage. But then that just creates even more damage and it cycles. So it's like, okay, right, I need to deal with that. Now, what else is on the list? You go through these things and you spend time. But this is the shit that will stop you from success in anything. Like I said, relationships, business, career. Like I talk about business, like there's nothing wrong with having like a good career. Like gym, things like anything, it just stops you. Like the only reason I was successful in the gym is because I was so fucking crippled by insecurity. Like it was like that was my soul. I was like, right now I'm gonna be fucking hench as shit. I'm gonna get all the girls. I'm gonna be hench as shit. All that happened was I got fighting a lot. The only people that compliment me as men. So, I want to go to the gym because I want to get big. I want to I'm scared. I want to get big and I want to pull. Then you get there and it's like the complete opposite of all things. So, but that was, that. And like there was a problem. I just do what I needed to solve it. But then
it just sounds like you're taking ownership of your life. In a nutshell, you're just taking ownership of everything you've done, taking the responsibility and just saying, no, I've done this. I'm not perfect, but how can I fix it?
Yeah.
And the one thing that was running through my mind when you were talking about was especially the current world that we live in and entitlement. Everyone feels like they're owed everything. The world owes them something. And you're doing the complete opposite of that. You're going, I'm actually owed nothing, but I need to realize what I need to do in order to become better.
Yeah.
And the people that are making any types of moves in life that are just content, they're happy where they are, or they just want to just complain and bitch about stuff.
Yeah.
They're the ones that aren't doing this type of work. And
always. Like you can either look for blame or you can look for a solution. You physically can't do both things.
Yeah.
It's impossible to do both. And when I'm grateful because when I mentor people, I can be very transparent and I can be a hard ass and I can be a very hard truth guy because that's what people need. But it doesn't work in most circumstances because you only can get help when you accept you need help.
Yeah.
And like that's for me, that's what stopped me. And it's a very hard thing to accept. Like I didn't want to admit I was the guy who needs to go to therapy because he's fucked up. Like that was the worst thought in my head. Like, nah, I'm normal. Like, it's fine. Like, it can't be that bad. Can't be that bad. So I used to go out drinking, be destructive, get in loads of fights. And they'd be like, "Oh, I'm getting a bit of a fucking ass now. Maybe I should stop drinking for a couple of months." And I'd stop drinking for a couple of months, and then I'd I can go out and drink again. I'm fine. And then it would happen again, because I never wanted to admit it. I never wanted to accept that. So it was hard. But then the only way to get better is accept it. So it will stop you for a long time. But there's a lot of my advice that people can't take. Like, I have a lot of people in my old life who think I'm an absolute ass. Like, I've got family members I don't talk to anymore. Like, because they just don't get it. They think that everything I put out there is like a personal attack on them. When I talk about entrepreneurship and like working hard and growing business, like they think like I'm like directly saying that they're not good enough. And like I say so many times, it's like, it's if you're happy, then you do you. Like, what I say, I never proclaim to be the secret of life for everyone. It's not for everyone. It's just there's a large pool of people like me who can't sit with normal. There's something that sits on your back, and it's the pain of wasted potential. If you feel like you've got that potential and you want to put, like, that will create pain until you do something about it. It's the pain of wasted potential.
How do you unlock that then in your eyes?
Responsibility.
Responsibility.
Yeah. Because then it's the actual process is called cognitive dissonance that I relate this to. So it's when an internal belief and an external kind of action or circumstance conflict, you have cognitive dissonance. So dissonance is pain. Cognitive is obviously mental pain. So your mind will create this pain when you believe something to be true and there's kind of proven evidence against. Now, in 99% of circumstances, because people don't like to take responsibility, they do rationalization, justification, mental gymnastics in their own mind to try and justify that pain. And in most circumstances, people will literally fabricate reality. So it's like when you have it's like confirmation bias as well. When you have an internal belief, you will see over the course of your life, time and time evidence against that, but your memory just won't attach to it. What you will see is every time it's supported, you will only hold on to that. And that's what I do. Like, I know that for a fact, and that's with the insecurity side. Like, I could have gone out on a night out and been approached by 20 women, but my mind will register, because if it's like an insecurity thing, like, oh no, they were ugly, they were that, I didn't want them anyway. And then like the one who turned me down, that's what I'd fix on. It'd be like, oh, I'm obviously like just the worst of the worst. So like, it's like being self-aware of those things, and it's like, no, think, relax, human brain engage, logical, think about the actual scale of events, not just what you're holding on. And it's a bit like CBT. It's like that very evidence-based, like, what's the pros, what's the cons, what's the 2, what's the 4? Okay, well, logically, does that make sense that you arrive at that position? No. Stop being an idiot then. It's one of them. But the cognitive dissonance in most cases are like, people don't think they're bad. People think they are good. So when a bit of evidence presents that they're bad, they will then fabricate reality to make it to support their argument that they're good. And it's why that what I kind of realized is that I was going out of my way to prove myself to be a good guy to people, to prove and then I realized it doesn't matter what I do, I'm always going to be the bad guy, because in their mind, if I'm the good guy, it then turns them into the bad guy. So you have to be okay being a villain a lot of times for a lot of people, because the very nature of turning yourself into the hero means that they'll turn their own selves into the villain, which they won't do. So they'll continue to fabricate reality, to justify their actions, to paint you out in the worst light, because it supports their internal belief system.
Would you say that it's manipulation into your own world?
Yeah.
That people just want to seem that they always are the good guy, never take the responsibility of themselves, so that's then the way they manipulate themselves without even probably knowing
events. Memories are very, very tricky thing, very subjective. So they'll either fabricate reality, fabricate memories, only fixate on the supporting evidence, not like completely ignore or forget all the disregarding evidence that opposes them.
So do we only remember what we want to remember? That makes
in most cases, yeah. It's the impactful things that we remember. So whether it kind of affects us very high or very low, that's usually what we hold on to. But it's down to us, supporting our internal belief system. And a lot of people ride the wave of high school. Like, I was great in high school, so I'm great. Now I don't need to put myself out there and then try anything else, because I'm great. And then you stay in the same circles, you stay in the same areas, you stay in the same things, because in those you're great. So then having to go from a point where you're really great to you're really shit is something that a lot of people won't do. So they'll stay. and they'll stay in the mundane because it supports their internal belief system that they're good. Because challenge and you'll stay a loser if you don't want to be a loser. So it's a very hard thing to kind of do.
You'll stay a loser if you don't want to be a loser. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
So in order to become better, you have to be bad. But if you're not willing to be bad at things, then you will not be successful in anything. So you will stay a loser because you refuse to be a loser.
Okay. Now I'm onto that. Yeah. So it's people, they're not going to be winners because they're not willing to try. Yeah. So they'll always just stay in that little comfort zone.
Everyone loves James Bond, but no one considers that there's some bumbly teenager stepping on women's feet as he learns to dance, falling on his ass doing parkour, almost shooting himself in a foot at a shooting range. Everyone's been shit.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be. And I think that's the good thing about introverts is that, when you're younger, you'll spend a lot of time by yourself, but and a lot of times because you have deep thoughts, creativity, you will do interesting things. And then as you become older, you have all these little things that like, I don't know, I like to play like music, like do the fighting and stuff, because I like being on my own and doing things. So you kind of finally arrive at a position where you do become a bit more of an interesting person. But that's only through doing interesting things. And it's like the reversal as you get older. The people that were always kind of out with their friends, something like that, now it's in the pub. Now they're like fucking 40 years old in the same pub, talking about the same stories to the same people. On a grand scheme of things, they're probably a little bit different from the people that spent a bit of time alone learning stuff, going through being losers, going through that time. So
do you feel like everyone in the world should go through that stage even at least once? Or is it not for everyone?
What stage specifically?
The stage of self-development, trying to be better, going through the loser stage. Or do you reckon it's not for everyone?
100%.
Everyone.
That one I would. It's like very rare I'll say a blanket statement. But everyone needs. Because we were saying this again on one of the kind of calls I did this week, that you need to reevaluate the way you see failure. Because failure is only failure when you quit or you don't try. When you are trying to achieve something, you will make a lot of mistakes. And the only way to learn is by making a mistake. It's like they say that smart people, learn from other people's mistakes. But it's never as impactful. You've got to fuck up yourself to really feel it.
That's what I say, because you need to feel that pain, though, that failure. Instead of just going, oh, he tried that, but okay, I can see where they're coming from, but I haven't really felt it, so I'm going to try this. But you need to go through that. You need to get that drive, that hardship.
I'm an extreme version because I need to make the same mistake 4 times to learn.
Yeah.
Because I make the mistake and I'm retrospective, like, but if I would have done this different, it would have worked. So I try again, and then that way doesn't work. And then I get to the point where I cancel out all the variables, and then I learn the true lesson, which is why when I help people, it's great because I've made their mistake, another mistake, the other mistake, the mistake that they now want to make. And then, kind of zigzags, like you kind of go through all these iterations. But like I make the mistake and was like, and then my mind's like, maybe it wasn't that bad. It's like, maybe you should just do that again. Like, fuck, did it again.
When it comes down to people like that, then, like just in general day to day, do you feel like that we need to have certain types of people around us, so the right circle or the wrong circle, in order for us to be able to make that decision?
Yeah, I think that there's different circles for different stages of your life. Like, there's a lot of talk about how young people, 18-year-olds, should be hyper fixated entrepreneurs and all this stuff. I'm a bit like, nah, you need to go out, you need to be broke, you need to experience life, because life is very big, it's very varied. And I think that it's a shame if you miss out on such a big part of that, because if you are successful, if you're well off, there's just there's such an important part to life that you don't understand. And it's messy, but it's fun. It's an enjoyable time, like going out with your friends, getting fucked, like getting in trouble, doing things wrong, learning, growing. But I think it's people get stuck in that, which is the problem. Like you become, I think like the 30s should really be assigned to start thinking about things a little bit differently.
In your 30s?
Yeah.
So would you say it's the old traditional, in your 20s, go out and try everything?
I think, but that's what your 20s are meant to be. Meant to be the trial and error phase. Because again, like your brain that you have is not going to give you all your tools until your late 20s anyway. So you're going to react to things rather than respond to things a lot more. You are going to make a lot more mistakes. There's going to be less clarity. But the only way to learn in life is to make the mistake. So you need to go through that. Then people, you will see them like 40-year-olds in the club. Like, I didn't want to be one of those. Table of 20-year-olds. I didn't really want to do that. And I've had like a few of these like nights out. Fuck me, it's like I go to these places where you can't. No one hears each other. I'm like, how the fuck do I used to enjoy this? Like everyone I've come in with, we just kind of stand there going, that white guy smile. All just kind of standing there. Well, a bit fucking young crowd in here, eh? Yeah. Do you go smoking? I don't smoke anymore. Okay, that's fun. So I got a rule. If I can't hear the people I go in with, I don't go. Okay. So that's my rule. Unless like a music event or something like that, like once in a blue moon. But yeah, like I've come from a place of going out every single, like in the army, we used to go out every day. Like we were in Surrey and it was awesome. It was like Camberley, Woking, Guildford, like all these places. We always used to go out, and like it was like a rite of passage. When you join, and like God, nowadays it's a different army. Like you can't even crate people. Like if someone's new, you can't say right, you're getting a crate. And but this is how we bond. Like like when you're new, when we were in Perth, right, 8-man rooms. Like when you got to buy a crate, you got to have all the boys around you, and then you got to do like fun fact, funny story, and a Babe Station impression, which is not okay to do. It's not fun, but it's funny for everyone else. And then it's other people's turn, and it's like, okay, this is really funny. I can see why you did this. Like shit like that. You know what I mean? You've got to do it. It's funny. It bonds everyone. It's what it's about. But now, like, you can't do that. Everyone hides away in their own rooms. I've heard stories. Like everyone I knew is like kind of leaving. Very different army. Like they literally done a campaign to attract snowflakes. Like, don't know whose idea that was, but very different army than what it was. But that's what I mean. You need to go through that. And yeah, sometimes when I go out, you get that little demon come up. You have a few drinks, like, oh, I was like, nah, settle down. Like, but it's the repercussion of it. I have a 7-day hangover at least. I have 3 days of rough, and then like I'm back to normal in a week. But I just can't afford to do that anymore. I can't take a day off, let alone a fucking week.
Yeah, because I can imagine it for you and the way that you speak and all that. How do you feel like you always need to be like a high performance all the time? So if you do have that drink, it really does just knock you off.
Yeah, and like part of my going out days was a lot of drugs as well. Like, and that's even worse. Like the coke days were not fun. Like, and there's like when you're in it, it's normal, but when you're out, you're like, fuck. Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah. I can only imagine for yourself, like I said, like the type of work that you do. Because like for me, I work in an autistic school, so it's like nothing compared to what you do. But I've stopped drinking about 13 months ago now.
Completely.
Yeah, just nice. completely stopped. So stopped when I was 25, turned 26 this year. But like since I stopped that, it's just like everything just changes. How I see things. The hangovers are like a big thing, but how I look at things, how much I'm focused, how much more drive I've got, how much more productive I can be, how many more things I can actually get done, even if it's just little things. But I'm able to do that because I stopped going out for the drink.
There's only one reason I drink now, and it's dates.
Really?
Yeah. If I didn't date, I wouldn't drink.
What about if like you just met up with like a couple of friends or whatever, just a quiet evening? Even that's just a no-go.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think back when I used to do that stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't like yeah, and like I said, it was. That's why you kind of lose touch and like you're not invited. Honestly, I have some people I hadn't caught up with in like this was like a few years ago, but when I was trying to sort myself out and it's like sitting on the sofa, like catching up around mine. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna catch up. It's a fucking Tuesday, and he's like, "Do you get back?" I'm like, "It's fucking Tuesday." Yeah. No. I was like, "All right." And it's just, yeah, it's like when you don't really want to keep destroying yourself. It's very hard to stay in the same groups.
Why is so many people in a predominantly Western world? Obviously, then you look at parts of Europe as well, but drink and drug. Why is it such just a big factor in our lives still to this day?
I think, and again, this is just a very subjective opinion.
Yeah.
Could be argued for and against. I have to say things like that, otherwise people always get upset when I what I say. I think, from my perspective, how I was, it's because the life I was in caused me so much pain. It was my out. It was my relief. And it's like, I was trying to build businesses for the longest time and it wasn't really working. I was trying to be a somebody forever, but like the businesses were, I felt, my first actual ticket to do it. But you know, you try and be a somebody like everyone does. Well, not everyone does, but especially when you have that drive in you, and then you are in these like shitty mundane jobs. You know, you got to work for bosses you don't like, got to do things you don't like. Then you go out and you're a fucking superstar. Like, you go out, you go to the VIP, you know everyone, and you feel like big man. And then that doesn't quell that enough. So you start getting a bit more fucked. Like, I'll get a bit more fucked. I'll enjoy myself. Then that doesn't quell it as much. Then you start getting drugs. And then for the start of it, it gives you what you need. And then you get used to it, so it no longer does. So what you end up doing is you end up chasing. And then because you chase so much and because you put yourself through so much hangovers, money, the pain you experience in your normal life comes even more. So you have to do even more to get out of it. So then it becomes this feedback loop. And then you get trapped in it. And then it becomes the only thing. And then because you're in so much pain financially, things like that, you know, your health, even the nights out aren't really hitting it. And then you kind of reach that point where you're like, oh, don't really know. But then you have one of those legacy nights, one of those crazy, this is what it's about. And then you chase that because they happen once in a blue moon. It keeps you in just long enough. And I think when you start going out and then it does, you don't have those legacy nights anymore. There's nothing keeping you there. You either go up or you go down. You take that next level up or you kind of start to get out of it. But it's, you know, again, it's a feedback loop. It's a chase. Everyone wants to feel like someone. Everyone wants to feel like someone.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. So my opinion is you're right there. So I remember when I used to go to town, and these used to always take the piss out of me when we used to go. Like, I'd know all the bouncers. So I'd walk to the front and go, oh, what's going on, Jim? Oh, what's going on, Mick? So you can see a smile on his face because he knows.
Yeah.
But by me doing that, I was trying to do a good thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, can you get us in or whatever? But by me doing that, I was like, I feel like a bit like a big man right now. I feel like a bit like somebody.
Yeah.
And like you would see like a cute people or whatever. And it's like, yeah, come on, everyone, let's go in. We've just got in or whatever. Oh, we've just got maybe some free shots or whatever every once in a blue moon. Yeah. But like you said, then you get into the VIP, then you feel like someone. It just adds and adds.
When you walk past that queue of people and you go straight in, you're like, oh. I used to take dates out and be like, oh, just go straight in here. Again, you like act like a big man. I was fucking broke, man. I was hanging around people who had a lot more money than me, just constantly chasing, constantly trying to keep up. I got like bank loans out to keep up. Like I was in debt forever, just trying to keep up with constant nights out.
Here's a question for you then. How did you get out of the debt?
The debt specifically.
Yeah.
So I'm
a very popular thing, isn't it?
Okay, I have a very, very uncommon view on this, and this will not work for everyone. And I always say take a lot of my advice, but never take my financial advice. You can sit there, you can have a spreadsheet, you can reduce all your Netflix subscriptions, you can buy a more economical car, you can take the bus rather than drive completely, you can go on, subscribe my bills, whatever they are, and save yourself 300-400 quid. Or you can actually fucking work for yourself with a venture and put yourself in a position where you don't have to worry about money. My solution has always been, I'll just earn more money. And most of the time, all the things I tried got me even further in debt. But I didn't give up. Like the biggest thing that pisses me off when I'm on, like, we're doing like high ticket sales calls, is when people are like, oh, I just don't have the money. I was like, well, you've literally just told me you've got it in your savings right now. I was like, yeah, but I'm saving it for a rainy day. What does that even mean? Like, but they'll tell me before that how 100% committed they are to hitting their goals. They'll do anything. And that's like my sales. Like, it isn't, I don't have these manipulation tactics. I just put people into a very logical state. You're telling me you hate where you are. You're telling me that what I do is the right fit for you. You're telling me that it can get you to where you want to get to. You're 100% confident of that. The only thing stopping you is you just don't want to spend the money. And it's like, oh, that. But when people say I'm paycheck to paycheck, I was overdraft to overdraft, and I still got a 20 grand bank loan out with my first business. I lost it all. Did it stop me to get another loan out to my second business? No. Lost all that. Most of it, trading, got some of it back. When I started my agency and I'd just been fired from COVID and I had no money, I found and I scraped and I borrowed and I begged and I stole enough money to buy a course to help me with a marketing agency. And then the first client I signed was a website that got me 18 grand for my first ever client. That was more money. That was pretty much the same money as my first bank loan. But that business fucked up so bad that I had to fire 2 website agencies and had to learn to do it myself. But the skills and experience I learned from that got me my first client into that. Then it got me to the next thing. Every fuck up gave me the experience to get exponentially higher than the distance I fell. So when you say I don't have the money, you will always be able to find the money. If your mother was dying and the cost of procedure was $5 grand, you would find $5 grand. It's just that you're so focused on talking about what you want to do because it's so easy. And I think that quells people's pain. I think that when you're in a painful situation, you're looking at, starting to do things about it, you can quell that pain by pretending to do things about it. That's enough. But the thing is, time is not kind on that mindset. That's what I done. That's it. It's just, but I've never lacked the commitment to kind of pull the trigger. But it was like, oh, fucking, this is taking a while now. Like, I should really work on my business. But if I go out and I buy a round of drinks on my business card, I feel really important. I feel like a very successful business owner. So I'm going to do that instead. So I used to do shit like that, like for the longest time, not put the work in that I know I needed to. So that's why I shut that business down for 2 years to kind of sort myself out. And then the ventures after that were a success.
You're inspirational, Got that. Yeah. Did I say that out loud? I'm really sorry. No, it's
learn from my mistakes.
Yeah. But I need to go through the pain of it though as well. It's just everything that you say, like you said, you put it in so much logic and you literally have done that. That I feel like you need to speak to everyone. I really do. It's just the way that you come across and all that, the way that you can put things and the way that you just make it so easily understandable, and then you back it up with logic. That
appreciate
everyone just should know Connor Williams. Like they really, really should, and they should just be able to just go, "No, Connor, help me sort me shit out, mate, please do." And then you can go obviously bang, 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 and then just help them out. But mate, you're a cracking guy. Like I really have to say that. Yeah, and I'm saying it like I'm ending the podcast. I'm not just having to get this off my chest right now. Well, because if I'm being openly honest, and obviously, if people want to judge this or whatever, I'm in a position at the minute myself. I feel like you're the perfect guy to talk to. So, hey, you're right here.
Yeah.
It's like I'm in a position myself, and I'm spoke to Derek, spoke to my dad about it. It's about I want to be able to get there. And it's not like this super duper lifestyle or whatever, and got the nicest cars, go and do whatever I want. It's just financially free. And I do want to become in that position, but like what you're saying, if you don't have the money to do it, then obviously you've got to work hard towards it. But what if you're in a position where you feel like you've already got enough on your plate? You feel like you don't know what more you can do. You've made all them cutbacks, and it's just still not enough. You're still paying off them debts. Like, obviously that's me at the minute, not like a sob story or whatever, but I'm getting by. I'm doing well. I've got no issues in life or whatever, but I've still got things I need to sort out, the shit I need to do.
I think most people don't become successful because they actually realize when they do start how hard it is to become successful. Like how much shit you have to sacrifice. Like, I don't know if you're a Marvel fan. Everyone is.
Yeah.
The Thanos at the end where he's in the Soul Stone and that little Gamora.
Yeah.
What did it cost you? Everything.
Yeah.
Fucking hits me that.
Yeah.
It does. Life is sacrifice. So you can choose to sacrifice your potential, or you can choose to sacrifice everything else. You're going to go through pain no matter what, but some of that pain gives me a lot of satisfaction. And the other thing is the journey up is most of the time the most enjoyable. When I look back at the times where I was like, the times I look back with a smile on my face, like I was telling people about, especially like when I'm in like what you need to do to build a business, was the first business that failed. Even that, like, it wasn't like I just didn't do fuck all. I was making meetings up in my job. to go sit in a cafe for 2 hours and do some work. I was doing it every lunchtime. I got fired from 2 jobs because of that. You know, when people say, "Oh, well, I'm just really, my job's like suffering," it's like, well, would you want to be a fucking business owner, or do you want to be a 9-to-5er? Something's got to go. So there will be sacrifice, and unless you're willing to sacrifice those things in the worst circumstance, then it's not going to happen. So it's going to be painful. It's going to be hard, but everyone's journey is. Like if it was that easy, everyone would do it. It's that easy because it's that uncomplicated, but it's not that easy because of how much it requires from you. So there's always going to be pain on the way up, but it's what that pain makes you into that you should gain satisfaction from. Like I tell people that you're already in the 1%. That when we run ads in programs like this, now if you want to kind of break it down to numbers, we'll look for a 1% click-through rate. 1% of people even bothering to look at what you do. Now, obviously, there's going to be a proportion of that of people who are kind of like in personal development, but they're not into fitness programs, into entrepreneurial programs. So they're not going to click. But out of the 1% of people who click, usually you're looking for 10 to 30% to get to the next stage, which is to watch the thing you've watched. Out of that, 10% of people will watch it till the end. You know, out of that 50%, then we'll actually book a call. And then we close about 30% of that. So that's why we've got to advertise to so many people. And even that, everything has to be perfect on those levels. Those are the levels that you aim for to get a funnel working, give or take. The amount of people who even bother to look into doing something about their life is so insignificantly small that even if you are looking at a YouTube video or a podcast like this, you're already ahead of most people. If you're spending all of your time building a business like this, do it like we said right at the start, that like if you do over 20 podcasts, you're already in the 1% of people who do podcasts. Like that is just such a definition for every bit of success I've experienced. Like I was not surprised by the numbers at all. So this is going to be long, it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, but understand that the journey is the point. That when you get to the destination, let's say that this makes you a millionaire, that you live in a big house with a big car. Buying that car will be great. Driving that car every day will be the exact same as the car you drive right now. The house you live in will be great when you buy it. When you settle in, when you probably buy a bit of new furniture, but you'll feel exactly the same as you do now. The work you do on a day-to-day basis, when you work with uber celebrities rather than somewhat people with a few thousand followers like me, very different people, will feel exactly the same. When you arrive at that position, you'll feel the exact same as you do right now. Apart from some of the pain will be less. Like I am not so stressed out. I don't go to Tesco's and shit myself that my card's going to get declined. I went through years I didn't look at my bank. I refuse. It would give me that much like anxiety. I would just buy until I hit my overdraft and I couldn't buy anymore. And then I knew that at some point more money would go in and allow me to pay. Like that's the debt I used to live in. I refused to even look at my bank account. But I can either sit here and cry about it and be in pain, or I can sit and do something about it and be in pain. So either way, you're going to go through pain right now.
Just choose your pain.
It's just whatever pain
choose
you want to
your
choose. But then, yeah, like I said, getting to the level you want to get to is not going to be without pain. It's going to be with new pain. Because when I was a closer on my own, I was living a fucking great life. But I've never been a closer on my own. I've always had other things on because I can't not. Like when I was closing, and like there'd be a few weeks where I didn't have much on with the other things I was doing. So I was closing, I was coaching, I was running a marketing agency. When I was closing, honestly, I was doing about 4 or 5 hours a day. There was a large period where I was between 8 and 20K a month, and traveling, doing different things, like not really. And I procrastinate a lot because I didn't have much to do. Like I have closed deals where you get paid like 300, 400, 500 quid. And I've been I can't say some of them. I've been doing some things while closing deals, including like playing Warzone. Yeah, I've been closing deals like because I do it day in day out. I get so numb to it. I could close deals like while playing fucking COD. Like, and that seems cool, but it's so boring. Like, and that was a position that I'd been dreaming of my entire life. And I was so mind-numbingly bored. And like I said, you get like the expectation, the reality, that's what produces the unhappiness. So if you set your sights on this level, this tangible, like, as soon as I'm here, I'm going to be happy, you're going to get there and you're going to be even more unhappy than you are right now because it didn't produce the happiness you thought it was going to produce. So the story I always use is the myth of Sisyphus, the guy who was condemned to push a boulder uphill. for eternity. Life is about that myth, because everything you do feels like pushing a boulder up a hill, and you're doing it to get to the top of the hill. But what you don't realize is as soon as you get to the top of the hill, there's a tomorrow, and that boulder goes right down to the bottom again. Then you got to push it all the way back up. So you're on a never-ending cycle of pushing a boulder uphill no matter what you do. So you can choose to focus on getting to the top of the hill and then disappointed when it goes back down, and making it about that, and then shitting yourself and then just changing the hill. And like, well, no, that's my new hill. And then being even more sad when you get to the top of that hill because it still gives you the same feeling, and then reach a point where you're probably going to implode. Or you can choose to find happiness in the daily steps pushing the boulder uphill, because that means that you have an infinite supply of satisfaction no matter what you do. Because if you can't be happy now, you're probably not going to be happy in the position you want to be in. The only difference is there is less pain from the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yeah. There's less pain on the lower levels of like that core primal territory. I'm worried about my rent, food, hunger. I'm worried about my like base level of survival. You get away from that, I think, is the only thing. Like when you get like 10K a month is a very popular entrepreneurial goal. I think when you get to that, you move away from that primal pain, which is a very strong motivator, which usually gets you over that 10K a month hurdle. So, don't shy on the pain. The pain's the only thing that's going to get you out of the hole in the first place. But when you get to that point, you realize that is not a lot of money. It does not give you the life that you thought it was going to get. I thought I was going to be living in fucking mansions. Like, I can just have unlimited Mackies. Like, that's the difference. So you get to that point, and again, you realize it's not as great, and then you get sad, and you're like, right, what's my new direction? But then I think that the progress that most people go through is that they do, which I love about this, is you're doing something based on purpose that you enjoy. So you have good people around you, you live in a nice place, you're doing the thing you love. So you're already at the top. You're already at the top. But it's not until you start appreciating that will you start feeling that.
Yeah, okay.
Because again, you can have a bigger house, you can have bigger status guests on, but that would honestly, feel exactly how you feel right now. Probably worse because you'll be so used to it. That'll be the difference.
Just taking that in for a minute, then. Yeah, because I feel like I'm always in conflict with myself of I need to be doing more.
But if you didn't have that conflict, you wouldn't do more.
Yeah.
So again, like I was saying very early on, it's that balance is hard to strike. But what I've come to appreciate is without that pain of, oh, I should be doing more, what I have is not enough, I wouldn't be pushed to have enough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be pushed to do more. So now what I do is I don't focus on the end goal as delivering me to the fucking Hail Mary land. Like it's not going to. So it's about the journey. But what happens is life work like this, like we said, it's in levels. So I like video game references for some reason. I think they work quite well. So what you're doing, like people in the early stages, getting over the first entrepreneurial hurdle, the 10K a month, basically surviving on your venture solely is the first hurdle, being able to do that. Well, that is like trying to fight a pack of wolves. But the problem is you've got a straggly bit of underwear and a shitty stick. That's the tools you've got to defeat this pack of wolves. So that is a hard fight. That is a tooth and nail, bloody fight. And most people die at that because they just don't have the tools to defeat the enemy. That's what level 1 is. But then what happens is you kill the wolf, you level up, you buy some armor, and you have a sword. Okay, right, got a bit about me. So when these like wolves keep coming, I can swat them away now. I'm prepared. But getting to a point where you have a sustainable business with employees, being able to not only provide for yourself but other people, that shit's a bear. That's a big old bear. So the battle you have now is that the enemy is much harder, but the tools you have to defeat the enemy are a lot better. So it's like when you're playing a game, like you don't unlock the moves yet. You just kind of like square and X, like that's it. You're very basic. But then you unlock some combos, then new weapons, then and the enemies become harder and harder, but you become better and better. You become more equipped. And then you get to the point where you got to slay a fucking dragon, but it's not you anymore. It's not just you. Like you have people around you. You have a team. You have an army. You have systems. You have things there, but you wouldn't be able to slay a dragon in a shitty stick and underwear. So every level you get up to, it's going to be a lot harder, but you're going to be different. Your ability to take on those challenges is going to be different.
It's all about just.
But it's still fucking war.
Yeah,
it's always war.
Still the same fight.
Still a battle.
It's just all about being consistent, going through it, and just keep fighting, isn't it?
Yeah. And like I said, there has to be a big sacrifice.
Yeah.
For me, it was social.
Yeah. Say, Derek will definitely know this. Like, Derek, what's my social life like?
Non-existence.
Yeah. It is. I don't do anything. I feel I'm still learning. I know I am. I'm still young. I don't know. I'm still finding a way to be able to.
Yeah, but you never feel young. Like you're always like, I feel like I've done enough.
Oh, I can feel me back and everything right now.
But there's always that guy who's like a year older. It's like, oh, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Like most irritating thing I ever get is like, oh, I don't drink red wine. Oh, you're mature into it. It's like, fuck off. I fucking hate that. I like what I like. Leave me the fuck alone.
Well, I can't wait for someone to say that to me. Well, you'll get the taste buds for it. We're just a bit older. You're still a pup. Yeah. I'm not, like I was saying before, I know I'm still learning, and I know I'm trying to figure everything out, and I know I'll be able to do it by myself. And I know I've made mistakes. Like I said to Derek, I need to be more social because we're only going to be young for so long. I might have thought that actually. I don't think I actually did say that to him, but principle of it.
Yeah, I think I started to, where are we, 2018, so 26. Yeah, 26, 27 is when I started to sort myself out. So,
sounds like me.
But that was, I tried to have a business at 23, 2016, 24. 24, 25, I said, didn't go very well. I had a relationship like go wrong, and it was like, right, well, maybe this shit's me. So it was like that reflection, that lock myself in a room, don't drink, don't do anything destructive, get myself out, and then I can start figuring stuff out. But you don't seem in a place like I was at 26.
Yeah. I know I've got a lot of good things going for me. I'm just trying to.
Do you know the difference between you and the people that you want to be? They started before you. That's it.
Yeah. I know there was a few years ago, like I tried to do YouTube, well, obviously like during COVID time, worked on a warehouse. Fucking hated that place. But I tried to do YouTube, tried to do your COD videos, your FIFA videos. I thought, everyone's COVID, good time to start. It's going to be able to get loads of traction. I've got thousands of people on Facebook, they're all going to subscribe. And it just never happened. And I'm always trying to do something. Like, I know what my goals are. Like, I'll have a little chat with you after this. But I know what I want to do. I just know it's going to take time. Yeah. Like, I always try and be logical. Like you're saying, I always try and think logically. I always try and take emotion out of it so much.
Yeah.
But that boulder is sometimes heavy some days to push up back hill.
Fucking right. And the thing is that life runs on momentum, and momentum is a boulder up a hill. So you need to have uphill momentum, but the minute you take a fucking break to wipe the sweat off your brow, the boulder crashes down at 4 times speed. So momentum is the most important thing, but it does go both ways.
Yeah.
But also, muscle memory, you do become stronger. And every time you fall down, you don't fall as low as you were before. And every time you get back up, you get a little bit higher than where you were. Growth is never linear. Growth is like that.
Yeah.
So it will happen. But you just got to give it time.
Yeah. We've only been doing this for like 9 months. I don't know. Like I accepted that something like this, the type of genre that we're doing, it's going to take time because it's not your comedy stuff. It's not like your easy watch, but keep consistent at it, keep working at it, keep working hard, and everything will fall into place because we know we've got a good purpose going with it, and we know it's going to hit the right people.
Yeah.
And once it's the right people, then that boulder won't be as heavy.
Yeah, but people can focus on a very short journey that they've seen of someone else's and put that as the expectation. It's like, oh, this guy grew his podcast to 1 million in a year. I'm at 9 months, not saying that's obviously the thing, but I'm at 9 months and I'm at 10,000. What's wrong? Well, why is it not working? What am I doing? Like all of these things. But what people don't see is the guy who grew it in a year, before that year, he'd been a very successful person. He'd built a very good network of people who had a big audience themselves. There were so he didn't start a year ago. He started fucking 20 years ago. But this is the foundation to what he's done. And it's same thing with nearly everything. It's like you could take a snippet of coaching business, 3 months, like 30K a month. Like it takes you a fucking year to develop it. Takes me 5 years of coaching to get to the point of where I could give people the right information to even be able to do that. Took 10 years of sales experience. It took 8 years of trying entrepreneurial things to learn the right mindset lessons for it. There's so much that goes into it. And it's like the same thing with the high ticket closing. I get some people who come in and they see when I've been able to place people in like 6 weeks, 2 months, and so blessed to have like hardworking people who have like really good results. So that's obviously great for us to be able to show. But what I never say is that's the expectation. I can show you one person I've helped get to 10K in 6 months, 6 weeks, which is fucking outstanding. The guy's in uni as well. Like it's fucking awesome. But he was already a closer for a year and a half in a shitty offer with not great skills. That's what we helped him with. But if you're in a 9 to 5 as an office worker and you've never done sales before, I'm going to get you to 10K a month in 6 weeks. You're fucking mad. Like, but what if I said I can get you there in 5 years? 5 years? I'm like, what else can you physically do that would get you 10K a month in 5 years with the experience and knowledge you have? Nothing. But people want the shortest and easiest route. They will only commit to something if I can literally in writing say, I guarantee you it will work. Because that's what they need. They need everything. They need all the stars aligned for them to even try. But I got 20 grand bank loan out. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have fucking anything. I just knew that I would figure it out. And I didn't. But I still fucking tried. And this isn't like a 5K. I'm thinking like 20 fucking grand on a bank loan with high interest. Like I knew it would work eventually, and it did. But that was 2016. Like I got fired from Dubai, 6 months in Dubai, fired from there. That didn't work, and that was like my dream job. Things like working, finally earning good money. Went to absolute shit. Right, this is broken. Obviously, I can't work for other people. I need to work for myself. Right, I'm going to start a business. And that, like when you're kind of new to that, and like YouTube weren't a thing as much as it is now. Like 2016, well, they might have been, but definitely not as popular and frequent as they are now. There isn't loads of like these gurus and things like that who are kind of steering you in the right direction. I was just like in very old school, right? You start a business with an idea. What's my idea? Literally a fucking pad and paper in my room for weeks. And ideas. How to make £1 million. Yeah. I was like, right, I'm a funny shaped guy. I'm like an upside down triangle. It's very hard for me to find clothes. I know. I'm going to try a clothing company that does custom ordered, custom sized clothes. Go onto my website, design it yourself, get it ordered in your exact size. I'm going to have instructional videos telling you how to measure each part so you can get your exact measurements. I'm going to do sample kits so you can see the fabric, gives you measuring tapes, gives you instructions. I'll make YouTube videos on how to do it. Everything was there. Not many people are doing it. So I thought I had this like magic idea. Like, right, this is it. So I was like, nah, right, I'm in, 20 grand bank loan. And then like a week and a half later, after I got the money, the supplier I was working with, who would give me everything. So it was kind of like a drop shipping model. It was like, obviously I'd get paid, send him over, he'd make it, send it back in like 2 weeks. So I had everything sorted, like worked out all my prices, things like that. And like 2 weeks later, I was like, oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to buy 3 times. I'm like, sorry, what? Like, yeah, we're increasing our prices. I was like, no, you've fucking told me this. Like you were saying, I was like, well, and I said to him, I've got my loan out for this business and you'll now change the prices. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I was like, fucking twat. But again, my fault because he's right. I should have checked. So learn the lesson. So I was like, right, I'll just up my prices. I'll get it. And then it's like, right, I built this website. Obviously, because I wanted all these custom things, it wasn't an easy build. So that was taking a while. And I ended up finding my first guy and then starting another one. And like, he was really fucking slow. And now I know how to design websites. I had to take over. These people were doing the square root of fuck all. Like the square root of fuck all. So yeah, fired them. And it was kind of like from 2016 to 2018 when I like shut it down. And then I had to be fair, I took a break for 6 months to do trading as well. Because I had a friend who was doing really well at it. That's quite complicated. That's not an easy fix. So it's kind of like coming back and forth. And then I think in my head, like now admitting it, I knew I'd fucked it. But I got a job in a marketing company to learn how to do marketing because that was the only piece that I was kind of missing. So I finally launched a business, and I was like, where the fuck is everyone? Like, why is no one here? I've had like, no, like, you think everyone on your Facebook, that's 1,000 people are going to share it. They're going to share it with 1,000. No one fucking shares it. No one gives a fuck, like, at all. Like, no one gives a fuck. And then, yeah, like nothing was happening. So I was like, right, worked in a marketing company. I'll learn how to market my business for that. Learned that, did all the calculations. I was like, every time I sell something, I'm going to lose money. And then I had the kind of the breakup, and I was like, nothing seems to be working. But like I said, like during this time, I was going out a lot. I was spending company money on fucking rounds of drinks to feel like I was important. I was going through bouts of hard work, and then not, and then like little short bursts. Like, so I was losing jobs because I was kind of like working on it in my lunchtime, and they didn't like that. I was like lying about anything. Oh god, I don't really feel too well. I'm gonna go and disable the toilet for half an hour. Fucking sat there like my laptop like this, doing anything that I fucking could. But then, so yeah, like fucking 20, 25 grand in debt. Then it wasn't working. Then everything was collapsing. I was like, right, maybe it's me. Maybe I just need to fucking sort myself out. And I didn't give myself a time. I was like, do it until you feel you're ready. And I think a good year in, I felt that I built a little bit of money back up. I felt I was getting to a good place, and I was like, I feel good mentally. So this was August 2019. So yeah, from probably July 2018 is when I kind of started sorting myself out. And then so maybe it was about nearly 2 years. And then August, I felt, right, I'm in a better place. I think I might start looking at something now, or trying the business again. And then I got home one day, something weird on my like countertop as I pull in my drive in my bathroom toilet. Went into the house, thick black smoke. Dickhead had left a candle on, burnt my house down.
Okay,
now, whilst that was not a great thing to happen, I have always looked back at that moment as a very clarifying, what I've been doing has worked, because it took me about 5 minutes to say, it's happened now. I can't do anything about it. All I can do is plan to fix it, which is exactly what I done. So everything went on kind of fixing the house. It was I was renting it off my parents. Mum forgot to do the home insurance. We are so identical. Like, we're so scatty brained. So it's kind of like majorly my fuck up, a little bit of hers. So yeah, like thankfully they helped me out with that. So yeah, very appreciative for that. Very appreciative for that. But I lived back home. Obviously not great, but lived back home, got the house back, moved back in like January. Managed at that point to get a degree course through my job, a marketing degree. So I was starting to do that as well. I conned my way into a degree course. Had an interview for a promotion, and they were like, what do you think the company should improve? And I was like, you don't train anyone to do anything. So you want us to do all this stuff, and you don't train anyone. It's like, oh, well, I'm sure we can get you a couple of courses, maybe some weekend stuff. I went into the girl who does it, and she was like going through this massive list of government approved courses. And she was like, level 3 marketing. I was like, level 3? I can do a level 3. It was like, there's level 4 here. And I was like, that's actually like a genuine qualification. I could do that. And then she's like, level 6 degree. Do you want a degree? And I was like, yeah, I think they did say I could have a degree. So basically what I'd done is I told person A that person B said I could have the degree. Person B that person C said I could have the degree. Person C that person A said I could have the degree. And I played them off each other. And then like 9 grand in, it's a degree. Went to my manager after it was all signed off. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm not going to be here for 2 days every month. What? Yeah, see ya. So I got a grade, and I was starting to like feel like my life is back on, and I was thinking maybe like I'll start a marketing company. I'll get a degree, I'll get loads of experience, I'll finish my degree, I'll have this marketing job, and then I'll start a marketing agency. And then obviously COVID happened, gone back at home for 2 months. Nah, sorry, we're gonna have to let you go. Fired, no money. Fuck, like what the fuck's happening here? And I was like, nah, I ain't sitting down taking this one. And then I started looking at like a few people who were doing marketing, like it's like fucking kids, 18, great marketing agencies. I have sales experience, I have marketing experience, like I can do that. So yeah, scrounged some money together, bought this course, start to do that. And then my first client paid me like 18 grand. But the guy wanted someone to sell his course because like he was growing. So I was like, I could probably do that and make some money on the side. And that was like that wasn't like high ticket. It was only like a grand course. But that was like still 10% of everything I was getting. That was like $4,000 a month, 4 to 6 grand a month consistently while marketing agency was kind of doing this. 6 months in, he needs someone to coach. And obviously I was great at sales. So it was like I was coaching them as well. So I was kind of doing all those 3 things for a while. And I think I bought a house in March 2021. So I didn't clear my debt till probably a year after that, but I'd managed to go from no job, 20 grand's worth of debt in 10 months and buy a house. So like that house, obviously that was good. And then like started chipping away at some debt, like not going crazy. Like I bought a car, but only like a 35 grand Mercedes, like not fucking, but like the nicest car I ever bought. And that was obviously in finance, not outright. So yeah, but then left obviously just like kind of chipping away at the debt, like throwing a few thousands at it, getting that off, and then like doing the closing. Then I was at a point where I was like, I don't really want to do this closing anymore because it's taken away from my agency. Like I'm too comfortable, and I got complacent. That's when I was closing fucking deals and playing Warzone and just fucking sitting in the house doing fuck all. Because again, you get to this point where you're out of debt, you got good money, but you're just fucking bored because it was easy. Like I just felt very lackluster. Again, it's wasted potential. So I decided to quit the closing deal to focus on my marketing agency. And then he was like, well, can you like stay with me for a month or so just while we figure things out? And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna leave you in the lurch, of course. But then he paid for a mentorship to help him like go high ticket. So then I kind of learned like the process of changing to high ticket. So it was like 4K then. So it was like 400 quid every time rather than 100 quid. And then it started like 8, 9, 10, 12, 20. I was like, oh, I'm probably going to stay here. So kind of doing that for a bit. And then the coaching was going really well. Loved that. And then again, but did that for a while and then got that next bump of money. And it was like, yeah, but this still isn't kind of giving me what I want. And then it was, why the fuck am I not selling my own course? Like, what can I, well, hang on. So I see all these, and then that was the light bulb. It was like, I see all these entrepreneurs who struggle because starting a business is very overwhelming, especially when you're new to something. So I had a great sales experience, which is why I done well with my agency, but I was shit at marketing, which is why I kept losing loads of clients. That's why I wasn't growing. So even that, like having a highly skilled in one thing, a business, you need to be highly skilled in a lot of different things. So I saw all these entrepreneurs I was working with who were kind of really struggling to even do like 10 cold calls a day. Like it was too much for them. And then I saw like there was obviously an opportunity that can give you everything that you kind of want to. And it was a lot easier, not easy at all, but easier than a business. So it was like kind of like high income skills is what they call them. But I didn't even really know the term high ticket closing. It's just what I was doing. So then I started to see there was a couple of other people doing programs like that and they were doing well. So I was like, well, I don't even think they're fucking sales coaches. They look like they've just fucking bumbled this course together. So yeah, like started developing this course from scratch. Took me a year, and that's how it finally launched. But that's when I was kind of in Bali. Another fucking breakup. Those are really fun. But then because I've been like hyper focused trying to build this business, but over that time frame, like I said, I started losing touch with everyone like around me. I barely see them anymore. And I think I was in my mind, I knew that it was kind of like it's too different from these people. We're just not. But I still wanted to like hold on to it. So obviously, have like kind of a bit of a loyalty or something. But then when I come back from Bali, I did reach out to a couple of them and like nothing, absolutely nothing. So and I like openly said, look, I'm in a shitty place. I need to have a beer or something. And they're like blanked. So I was like, that was my official decision to kind of move away from that. And I haven't spoken to anyone in my hometown since. So that was a big step. And last year was the biggest growth I've had, but it was the hardest year because I was officially moving away from old me, essentially. Everything I'd known, everything I'd had, I officially moved away from. But that is the most freeing experience of my life. I made this quote that obviously about the remote working side of things. It's like the money gives you the freedom, the ability to work for yourself remotely gives you options. But not giving a fuck what anyone else thinks gives you true freedom. Because I didn't post on Instagram before that because We're like old school boys club. Like you do anything, like, oh, let's go. Like you get taken a piss out of for anything. Like talking about your feelings, mindset, anything like that. Like it just doesn't gel in those circles. So I wouldn't ever put anything on. So I was so fearful of getting taken a piss out of. So I restricted who I was and what I could become because I was worried about the opinions of people I didn't even like anymore. And that for me just was fucking madness. So that was like kind of an official decision. Like I need to move away from those people. I need to move on. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I don't ever sit here with any bitterness. Like if those people ever fucking needed me, I'd always be there. Like we've got a lot of history, but I don't really want to be around them anymore. And I'm sure they don't want to be around me. They probably think I'm the most irritating fucker in the world now. So, it's like you can't look back like you're better than people or anything like that. We're just all different. Yeah. We will just live very different lives. So there's no bitterness there at all. But it was very freeing to finally move away from it and then finally become who I felt like I was and who I've always felt like I could become. So then I started posting on Instagram and things like that. And then that's what brings everyone into my program, who I mentor and who I help and who I coach. And yeah, the journey's just been mad since there. But it's all been from that decision to fully be who I wanted to be without caring about the opinions of other people that I didn't want to be like anyway. It's like, why am I playing the rules of the game that I don't want to play? Why am I, sacrificing what am I sacrificing myself for is a question I ask. What do I get out of this other than disappointment? Not for, like I said, they don't bother. No, they don't speak to me. Like then I start to put things on, and the only contact I'd get is comments taking the piss. Like, so, which, again, it's fine because we're like, well, that's what we do. But when you start becoming so different from everyone around you, it feels like you can't fit in anymore. But then also you're not significantly developed enough to attract the right people. So that's why it's lonely, because you're sat in this period of your life where you're between two worlds. And it's like literally leaving a fucking planet, leaving everything you've known and your world entirely. And it's so hard to get out of orbit. It's like you're on that rocket ship and it's so hard to get out of orbit because it's your world. It pulls you in. It's comfort. It's everything you know. And then when you leave that orbit, when you leave that planet, you're in the fucking darkness. You are honestly wading your way through without any security that you're going in the right direction. All you have is a fucking star map and a general idea where that next fucking planet is, possibly. And you're just wading through the utter darkness. And it's so hard to get out of the orbit and leave because it is the world you know. But you're going to be stuck there unless you do. So going through that loneliness, going through that darkness is something that everyone has to do. It's unfortunate. But this is why I'm a big component of joining communities, of like being around. But like, this is the biggest fucking annoyance. Like, I say this to my students all the time. It's like the hardest thing I've had is like going through this shit alone. Like you're in a community of not only just like people like you, but people doing the same thing as you. Like, and I'm like, I shout at them all the time, just get together, do role, like, and we incite doing role plays and stuff together so that they get that. And now they're making friends, things like that. And so like all my team members have come from my program, and like Aaron and Steve, absolutely smashed it. Love the guys. They're like get together, like they're friends and things like that. And like the team gels so well. Like that's what I wanted to promote, because that's what I felt like I never had. So I've always said, like, rather than moan about something you don't have, just fucking create it then. Like I've just moved to Manchester, like, and I'm not really finding, is there any entrepreneurial groups or anything like that? So it's like, oh, there's nothing here. Well, fucking create it then. So, got into a building where there's like-minded people, and, I'll find a better circle. And if I can't, I'll fucking create one. That's what
I found. Connor, man, I admire you, like, listen, just take the compliments if I give any. Just drink a coffee, have more water, just turn your head. But I really do like the ethic of your life and how much drive you put into it, man. It's just brilliant. Your morals and everything, just the way that you are, the way that you think, the way that you speak, the way that you're passionate about anything. It's just brilliant, and it really is. And like you've given me a good time to think throughout this podcast.
Yeah.
When you've gone off in the tangent for 5 minutes, like, I'll give myself 30 seconds here to think about my life. but I've needed it as well, though. Like, I feel like I've really needed it. And I feel like I'm not one of them where it's like, oh, the universe works in all these ways, and I'm going to go home and charge me crystals because of this. But, like, I feel like you've come at, like, a really good time on this podcast.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's the time when I needed to talk to someone like this. So, thank you for that, lad. But it's, you are an inspiration. Like, you are. And I feel like a lot of people, and especially a lot of men, I hope that they listen to this, and I really hope that they can take something away and maybe get yourself even a couple of clients underneath it. Like, I hope you can take something away from this.
Well, yeah, like, I always like to help in any way that I can.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but man, it's your story. It's admirable. The life that you've lived, it's admirable. The hardship that you've ended up having to take, it's admirable. Everything is just hats off.
I'm sure there's more to come.
Yeah, there is. There really is. And it shows like you're not going to slow down anytime soon, so there will be more to come.
Not at all.
But mate, how long have you been recording, Derek?
2 hours.
Fuck.
3 minutes.
Flies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Flies by, but
yeah. Well, good one to call, I guess.
I know, it's like everything that we had done, we just covered anyway. I didn't even have to ask the questions like we said at the beginning. But no, man, I will.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
Yeah,
that's good.
I don't want to drag this out or anything like that. I feel like if you'd ever fancy coming back home, you could leave it for part 2.
Always, man. Always.
Yeah, but man, I've got nothing else I want to ask you. I feel like you've put your heart and soul into that microphone.
There's that's what I try to do. There's a lot of a lot of scientific stuff.
Yeah,
probably for part 2.
I know, but you know what? The first thing I'm gonna do when I leave here today, I'm fucking taking that book home. I'm going to be reading the 7 Habits of the Most Successful People, or whatever it is. Stephen R. Covey, I think it is. I've just started reading that, but now because you've been speaking about that, I'm just like, books they quick.
Always my recommendation.
Yeah,
always.
But, man, Derek, have you got any questions?
I haven't, no. But one comment I will say is it was almost like as if I was in a Andrew Huberman podcast with all the research, the neurology, psychologies. It was very informative.
Yeah,
very informative.
To be honest, my thought on that was, I feel like you should be talking to Stephen Bartlett right now, not me. That's what I was like. Yeah,
we'll get there.
Yeah, you will get there, man. I swear to God, I'm gonna be watching hopefully in case your name pops up.
We've all got a very long time ahead of us. So,
but mate, like I said, I've got nothing else I want to ask right now. I feel like you've covered everything. You covered everything that we thought that we'd want to know, and you covered more.
Good place to stop.
I know. Yeah. Do you have anything that you want to ask us?
Who is your ideal person to listen to your podcast, and what does their life look like?
Your average Joe, someone that wants to better themselves, someone that.
Would you say that is the average Joe then?
Oh, that's a good way of putting it. Someone that knows that they want better, but they don't know how to get better. Ooh, someone that they need that guidance, they need the hard truth. They need to just hear someone else say the words that they feel like they can't put together themselves. That they know they want a better life, but they don't know how to get there. So we bring on the guests, we bring on the people, we bring on the stories, we bring on the hardship, the truth, the cries, the tears, the tissues. We bring it all, and someone goes, that's what I needed. I needed that. And I don't care if they listen to the 2 hours of this or they only catch 10 minutes at one point. But as long as there's a message in every episode that we can do and show that everyone can start from nothing and still make something.
Yeah.
Then
everyone.
Yeah. So your average Joe that knows that they want to be better.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what
I would say. But was that a satisfying answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can take that off me notes now. But no, can't, lads. I have absolutely. I know I say this about a lot of podcasts and things because I'm passionate about them, but I've. Morning, and I was like so tired going to bed last night. I woke up and I was like, oh, do you know what? Like, I hope you can say you can't make it today. And I got up, dragged myself out of bed. I was like, half an hour, 20 minutes. Okay. I was like, he's not going to turn up. And now we're here. And I'm just like, I am so happy that you came. So happy that I got up. So happy that Derek turned up. And I'm so happy that you came. Like, today has been a blessing. I feel like everything that you've spoken about today, mate, I can take away.
Till the next time.
Till the next time. Right. Derek, go on, lads. You know what to do. So yeah, that was Connor's podcast, and it was absolutely fantastic. And the guy is an absolute inspiration. And like I said to him at the very end of it, I admire him. He's a really, really good guy, and he knows what he wants, and he knows how to get there. And I've got to give hats off to him. I really, really do. And everyone should aspire to at least try as hard as they can, at least once in their life. So I want to just thank everyone for watching today, listening today, and I hope that you really can take something away from this podcast. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and goodbye, and see you in the next one.